Hi, this video is for Sentinel, one of the cleric healing souls. It is more the Jack of Trade healing soul. It has a few little group heals in with it. It is very reactionary based and very cooldown dependent. Um, so I'll get into it. Now, spec I have currently is not the proper spec. I have some Inquisitor in here. That does not work. It will be changed, but um, either be changed as a purifier or maybe defiler, or I might just put zero soul into it and put some more points in warded. Check the guild forums for the different specs. I will put different specs up for Sentinel, of course. But with the Inquisitor, it doesn't change the gameplay of Sentinel. Just what thought might have changed it to the past. This might have been a 5% increase to crit chance, but now it's just damaging abilities crit chance. So it does not help us with increasing our crits on heals. So the 3 points Inquisitor will be changed out. As I said, either take this spec and modify it, put a different soul in here, put points where you want, or go to the guild forums and I'll have a couple other um, specs up there with the correct ones. Just to give you an idea though how it's played, um, I'll go through stuff, show the different abilities. Um, so I went into Warden for a couple of reasons. Warden has a good AoE, cast time 2-second heal, up to 10 party members. This compared to, let me find it, the Sentinel heal, 2-second cast time, about 200 heal stronger, but up to 5 party members. Um, so for 5-mans, this one's a little bit more useful, but for 10-mans, this one would be more useful because it's very little health less. As I said, it's like 200 points um, for HP that it doesn't restore, but it does 10 party members instead of 5. Really big difference there. Also, if you're in a 5-man where pets are taking damage and people are playing pet specs, um, your I believe if pets aren't supposed to take heals first from party members, but if healing 10, it will heal pets or I believe it should heal pets as well. I really haven't tested with pets. Barely ever pay attention that they even have health. Um, One of the big things with also other than that though is Tidal Surge. Very good 45-second cooldown, upping our next heal by 50%. So very useful that way. Um, so pretty much Echoes of Altruism is talent here in Sentinel, High Sentinel. So level 61 Avenging Shield helps out with um, our mastery with Sentinel. If you're not this high up in Sentinel, you don't have Echoes of Altruism. So what this is your invocations restore additional health equal to 12% of the healing done after 1 second. Where Avenging Shield um, is instead of invocations, it's all heals. So every single target heal procs Echoes of Altruism, not just your invocations. So pretty useful in that sense. Increasing healing absorption grant is pretty standard for heals, because the other ones do really nothing. Healing over time and absorbs. We don't have absorbs, and healing over time is more Warden's department. So that one really doesn't work for us either. when you cleanse, your cleanse will cleanse again after 3 seconds. Some fights don't use that. Threngar isn't one that you don't want to use because cleanses will cause raid wipes if you cleanse at the wrong time. Otherwise, combat res heals for 100% instead of 50%. That is actually probably the one you should be running. That way you don't have to heal up somebody that you just rezzed. They'll be at full health. Your instant heals will reduce cast time of your next non-instant ability by 0.5 seconds per stack, max 5 stacks. You don't really have much instant abilities, so that might not actually be that useful. That's increasing damage. Sign buffs active. Damage and critical hit, so really it's the only thing worthwhile in healing to take because you're not a purifier, you're not really doing damage, and you're not a defiler. So I guess that's why I took that one. So really you have two options with your 65. Soul Stream is a single target heal or some damage. Most likely you'll save it for a heal. But the other thing is Divine Favor. With Sentinel for 5-mans, Divine Favor, along with one of the Sentinel buffs, actually could work out really well, where all you have to really do is heal the tank, and you heal the 3 DPS and yourself even. I'll get into that when I kind of explain the buffs. I'll go and save those changes. So I also suggest you always look through your talents, understand how things are affecting other things, all that sort of things. Like Healing Breath heals 2 additional party members for 6% of the amount healed on the member you used it on. Your single target heals have a 10% chance to reduce mana costs and global cooldown in your next Healing Breath to 0. So whenever you see a Healing Breath reactive, that's what's happening, is that it's free to cast and it doesn't use a global cooldown. Merciful Appeal, your cleanses have a 1 second GCD instead of the 1.5 second GCD, and as well they restore health equal to 6% of your maximum health, so they do a small heal when you cleanse. So as I said, like, it's always good to Touch of Light, big global cooldown, makes your next healing or absorb spell instant cast, reducing mana cost by 50%. But up here, our invocations reduce the current cooldown of our Touch of Light by 3 seconds. Every cooldown, or every invocation you cast, is reducing the cooldown of that by 3 seconds each time until it's off cooldown. So as I said, really good to know your spec, know how the talent affects stuff. Even I can forget stuff. I don't play all the specs all the time. I haven't touched Sentinel really since level 50. So I'm just kind of giving a rundown. I'm not an expert on it myself, but I can understand how to kind of play it and maybe how some things affect others. So, look at a couple macros here, just a couple old ones I had anyways. Had a big heal macro. I don't even see it on my bars anymore, which does touch the light, then healing invocation. Really crucial invocation is our big heal, but healing invocation is 2 seconds more, smaller heal though. Crucial invocation uses a lot of mana. I'll kind of go over that more, but as well, AoE heal, Divine Call is a 1-minute cooldown. 5 party members, and then Healing Communion is our spam 1 2-second cast. Could as well have this AoE instead with the Warden spec. Heals up to 10 members with Healing Cataract. As I said, about 200 heal less than Healing Communion, but 5 more targets. As well, Cleanse macro. Apparently I have Cleanse macro here, but I don't know where that Cleanse macro came from. There it is. So Sentinel Cleanse macro cleanses down the line from group 1 member to the group 20 member. Of course, if you need to cleanse something more specific, you kind of want to make sure you have cleanse on your bar, so that way you can cleanse the more important stuff. So we're responding to guildmate. So with heals, I really don't like macroing too much stuff. Battle res macro, of course, as well. But I find heals, you have to react. If you macro stuff, you kind of miss things or you overheal things. So for healing, I think just practicing with it, running through dungeons, knowing how to heal in raids and stuff, different encounters, it increases your skill, where if you macro things, you're wasting mana, you're wasting heals. If you're overhealing, you might not throw up a strong enough heal. So I don't macro much with my healings ones. Feel free to make your own macros, of course. I don't believe I have no K alerts currently. I could kind of make some. Check the guild forums to see if I have made some, but for now I won't make any. So Divine Favor will be under Ascended Powers, and then down to Divine Favor here in buffs. And that Tidal Surge in Warden. Healing Flood is a raid hot. Healing Cataract, raid heal, Healing Spray is a hot. Those could be quite useful on your bars as well. Overflowing Renewal is a 2-second cast. Does 16k health, and any overheals goes to 2 of the allies' party or raid members. Compare that to our Healing Invocation, which is another 2-second cast. It does 22, with my stats, just over 22k health in 2 seconds. So that's about 6k less. I think that was right. Yeah, about 6k less. But of course, if you overheal, it does more. But with Sentinel, we have other invocations as well. So then on to Sentinel, we have Revenant's Supplication, which is our mana regen channel. We have Dot, and we have a cast time damage. Of course, you're a healer, you're not really damaging, so not much there. We have an extra break free, Liberty of Thought, removes all crowd controls. Flash of Radiance is a little bit of control, pacifies nearby enemies, so they have to be right on top of you, and any damage to them would break that. So not very useful in raids, but open world, PvP maybe. So we have a few buffs here. Heroic Resolve is endurance buff on the party raid members with raid buffs. This gets overwritten. Does not stack. I think the Bard one overwrites it. As I said, Divine Providence. We buff ourselves with Divine Providence, and then 3 allies we can put Divine Favor on. So in 5-man, since you're normally constantly healing the tank, and if a DPS gets damaged, you know, you have to switch off a tank, which sometimes if you're not quick enough, the tank could kind of die. Or you go back to the tank and have to play catch up. So if you put Divine Favor in 5-mans on the 3 DPS, every single time you're healing the tank, you're healing the DPS for about 10 to almost 12k health every time you heal the tank. Pretty useful in that way. We have Faith Rewarded, causing our healing and absorption abilities used on party or raid members below 50% to restore an extra almost 9k health. Healer's Blessing does not stack with the Purifier's Blessing called Caregiver's Blessing. What Healer's Blessing though does is when you cast a single target heal, it procs a secondary heal for about 5k. Caregiver's Blessing in Purifier procs an Absorb Shield instead. You can't have both blessings up. Some people have tried that and it just does not work. You don't get it. Both of them are within the second tier of the souls. So if you actually put 6 points in Purifier, you can get Caregiver's Blessing, which does an Absorb Shield instead of proccing an extra heal. Extra heals, you know, you could have them topped off, so it could end up being overhealed, where an Absorb Shield is a little bit useful. But that depends on what specs you're running, of course, too. So, but just be careful with 61 Sentinel. You do have Healer's Blessing. Does not stack with Caregiver's Blessing. You can only pick one blessing to have on yourself at the time. As well, we have Marked by Light, causing our healing spells to restore about a 2k heal to 2 party or raid members near the cleric. So anyone standing near us gets a little bit of heals. Other than that, we have Wrathful Exuberance. So we put this on pretty much our main target that we're going to be healing for 5-mans on the tank. When we heal that person with this buff on it, whatever they have targeting, what we healed, 75% of what we healed is procced as damage to that target. Can't put it on yourself though, must have a target selected. I wonder if I can put it on the dummy here. Yeah, I can't even put it on the healing dummy. I believe they have to be in your raid group to put that on. Other than that though is we have life. Sorry. A little tired here. Done a couple videos tonight. Light of Redemption. You can put this on yourself or another person. What it ends up doing is a two-way buff. I'm putting on myself here. See the two same icons. One is whenever the caster casts an invocation restores that amount of health. The other one is pretty much restores health to the target whenever caster casts an invocation. Putting on the healing dummy here, I am able to do that. I end up with just the Light of Redemption one saying restores health to the target whenever I cast an invocation. On this one, stored health when a caster casts an invocation. So one says the target, one says when the caster casts. Really works well with Divine Favor. As I said, like, you can put it on yourself. So if you have Divine Favor on the 3 DPS in a dungeon and Light of Redemption on yourself, Light of Redemption is a 5k heal with my stats, where Divine Favor is like a 10k heal. So you might need more heals eventually, but every single heal you're doing heals yourself and heals the DPS. So if you just constantly focus on the tank, you're passively doing heals to the DPS and yourself. So you might not need to worry about yourself too much, especially if there's like a loose ad or something. You might not even have to bother healing yourself because healing the tank heals you and the DPS. Otherwise, of course, if you need more heals on the tank, because the tank is squishy, feel free to put a Divine Favor and Light of Redemption on them. So that way they get, every single time you're casting a heal on them, it procs an extra 15k heal on them as well from just those two buffs. So we're a little bit more flexible than Purifier. Purifier has 2 cooldowns, 1 minute small AoE shield on 10 people, and then a minute and a half cooldown, which is a big heal hard over 6 seconds. If they don't have those cooldowns up, they have no heals for group other than trying to spot heal a lot of people. Sentinel, as I said, we have 5 target heals. We have our Divine Call, and we have the Healing Communion. So flexible where we can... If it's heavy AoE damage, we're not going to be able to really heal through it, but small AoE damage or for a short duration, we can heal. And we're a little bit flexible with that. Other than that, though, is Purifier excels more at tank heals and not being reactionary because of the absorb shields. So you're pre-healing, where Sentinel is all reactionary. Damage is done, we heal up that damage. Damage is done again, or while we're still casting, damage is done again. So better you know fights and know if they have any stages where they burst some DPS, you can prepare your cooldowns and hit them when you know that damage is incoming. And we've talked about the buffs, so going up into the combat buffs here. Urgency, just run, speed, movement. Touch the light, making your next non-instant spell an instant spell, and reducing its mana cost. Niall's Hope, increasing healing done by 50% on the next 5 single target heals. Renewed Altruism resets your Sentinel ability cooldowns. So reset Touch the Light, Niall's Hope, all that does not reset the battle rest. Healer's Haste, reducing cast time of the next 5 healing spells by 30%. Healer's Covenant, buff that you put on anybody, reducing damage by 40% for 10 seconds. So on the tank, you know that there's some burst damage. You can use Healer's Covenant. They take 40% less damage during that burst kind of phase. Going into our heals a little bit more, we have Vigilance, which is 2-minute cooldown, lasts for 60 seconds. Within those 60 seconds, if they hit 20% health, it does a 20k heal approximately, or if they receive a killing blow, it procs health as well and heals them technically before they die. Life Return is the battle res. I will talk about the invocations in a second here. Healing Communion is that spam casted AoE heal. As I said, it's 5 targets instead of 10 targets from the Warden one. Healing Breath, really good spot healer. It's 8 seconds though. So if you have to spot heal a lot, it does not work that well. Fullness of Life is a 1-minute cooldown, restores 100% of your max HP to that target. So on tanks, like I'm a almost 75k health healer, that's like a 50% heal on a 140k tank. So Divine Call is a 1-minute cooldown AoE heal for 5 members. Powering Light is our AoE cleanse. Cleansing Prayer is our single target cleanse. Then to get into the invocations, we have 3 different ones to pick from. If you see Crucial Invocation here, it's a 1.5 second cast time. Healing Invocation is 2 seconds, and Subtle is 1.5. What it is, though, if you look there, it says 1814 mana. It's very, very high mana cost. But it restores, with my stats, 27 to 30k health. Compare that to our weakest heal, same cast time, um, like almost a fifth, I think, or a fourth of the mana, though, restoring half the health, the 13 to 15k health. Same cast time, half the health, but way more mana efficient. So topping off people or just spamming heals if the tank's not taking much damage, to just keep them a little topped off until you need to use a bigger heal. Subtle Invocation is the way to go. Healing Invocation is the one in between them. A little bit stronger, but the thing is mana efficient. Yes, it is. Cast time a little bit longer at 2 seconds, where it's restoring 20 to, with my stats, 20 to 22k health. So it's kind of in the middle of Subtle and Crucial, but it's half a second longer cast time. So that's really going over the abilities. Really, with Sentinel, as I said, it's really cooldown dependent. Knowing when to use your cooldowns, knowing what heals to do. As I said, with just topping off tank until they take, a bit of damage where you have to use a bigger heal, you can just use Subtle Invocation. Very mana efficient, very quickly. So that's the reactive I was talking about, reducing the mana cost of Healing Breath to 0 and no cooldowns. So I can quickly hit that and go back to Subtle Invocation. Compared to using Crucial Invocation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm below 50% mana. So very, very heavy mana usage. And then there's, of course, the Healing Invocation, a little bit longer cast time. So I suggest Crucial Invocation for heavy burst area times. Otherwise, kind of alternate between Subtle and Healing. Of course, as well, use your cooldowns. You can reduce the cast time. You could improve the healing done by some amount, make an instant cast, reduce the damage done on the tank. So you have a little bit of toys to play with. As I said, macroing stuff is not good. I don't believe it is good for heals. You need to be able to know when to use your abilities at certain times and have them up for those times. Macroing, you might overheal something, have wasted heals, waste mana, waste a cooldown. So yeah, very important to just play around with it, familiar yourself with it, and improve your skill. Not having many macros. So I hope I gave you a little bit of insight into Sentinel, maybe some new information. If you want to use it, have fun. As I said, I haven't used it since level 50. Back then, Sentinel was the healing soul for tanking for clerics. Purifier kind of sucked, so but they've improved Purifier with Storm Legion, and now that's the tank soul to tank heal with. But it's good to change it up. As I said, 5-man's PvP, even Sentinel can be very useful. Be able to go between those single target heals and the AoE heals, and have those options of the cooldowns. It can be quite useful for PvP in the 5-mans. So have fun if you decide to use Sentinel. Take care.